Okay, guys, good morning. Welcome to one more online class. We're gonna talk today about imperfect competition. We have been talking about a lot of perfect competition. We've done the graphs, we've done everything about perfect competition. We had a Google Doc last class to talk about the differences of the monopoly, the monopolistic competition. Now the other, oh my God, where is it? Here. Bad, my bad. Let's start by this, okay? Our Baroque is this. You have this number here, and I would like you to try to memorize it. So I wanted to click the pause button, memorize it, and after 30 seconds, you try to say it again or write it again um, without seeing the screen. Okay? Let's see how good you are at memorizing numbers. This will be important now. So pause, go. Okay, 30 seconds is gone. And who could actually memorize it? Did it change your life? No, I know. You know why? Because if you try to memorize graphs from economics, guys, that's not gonna be good. Believe me, you must learn the graphs. Learn, you need to understand, you need to know how to read the graphs, okay? So we have been talking about the four market structures, and that's what I want to do with you right now. So the four market structures are the ones on top. We go from perfect competition to pure monopoly. And today, our focus is to start talking about what we call the imperfect competition, okay, which are these three ones that are here. Remember that every product is sold in a market that can be considered one of the aboves, okay. If you have any questions about the class today for Monopoly, I recommend you read modules 61 and 62 on our textbook, okay, which are the pages 614 to 621, okay. So let's start by talking about the five characteristics of a monopoly. I know most of you already know them, but let's just focus on understanding one of them, not memorizing them, okay? So why are they single sellers? What is really important? One firm controls the vast majority, and pay attention, vast majority of the market, which means not all the market sometimes. Okay, some people have this misunderstanding that monopoly it's only one firm. Okay, but it can be more than one firm as long as one firm really controls vast of majority. Okay, the firm is the industry, which means that we actually have one graph. Whoa, there's no graphs for firms and industry separate. Okay, characteristic number two, they have a unique good with no close substitute. So let's start thinking about which markets you see that we have a firm that has a unique good with no close substitute, so we can't consider a monopoly. Pause the video, do some research, think about it, right? While you do this, I'll be drinking my Shimahao. By the way, one Shimahao per person. Remember that, yeah, guys? No coronavirus. Number three, price makers. These firms are price makers. And why? That's a question. Why do we consider them price makers? Well, because the firm can manipulate the price by changing the quantity it produces, which means they can shift the supply curve to the left, which means your left. Sorry, here, your left. I don't know if this is mirror or not, but left. Well, okay. Just think like Beyonce, to the left, to the left. Okay. And the example that I put here today is Microsoft. So why do people consider Microsoft part of a monopoly? Well, first, because even though they're not a single seller, because it's not one firm, they are the vast majority of this market. They're good they sell, which is the Windows. There's no close substitute. Okay, some people consider Linux a close substitute, but even though It's not the same, and well, it's not the same. It's not a good quality. Yeah, we can consider it an inferior good. Number four, high barriers to entry. Okay, we're going to be talking about later about all the barriers, but new firms cannot enter the market and no immediate competitors because of that. Okay, which makes firms to be able to make profit in the long run. Okay, we're going to be talking about fixed costs and variable costs after that. Just calm down, calm down. So we also have some non-price competition. Okay, and you have studied about it. So despite having no close competitors, monopolies still advertise their products. So they still have some fixed costs and variable costs in terms of advertising because they have this effort to increase their demand. Sometimes monopolies have problems with demand, right? Oh, that's your attendance task, which by the way is posted in another post on Google Classroom. You have to answer these questions with true or false. I want to see your perspective, and then later I'm gonna screen the answers as soon as everybody replies to this attendance task. Okay, just go there after or pause the video right now and go there, do the attendance task, please, so I don't have to give you absences. Okay, and that's a joke I found it. And for those who are doing U.S. history, it might be interesting to read a little bit about it. That's Bill Gates' son talking to him like, "Daddy, can we play another game besides Monopoly?" And he's like, "Honey, that's the only game we have." Bang! Just some food for thought. Okay, now let's talk about the barriers of entry, which are one of the four origins of monopolies. Okay, and we're gonna be talking a little bit deeper, and I would like some input later. Geography is one of the barriers to entry, and although some people think of geography as just a map or boundaries in the map, we can go deeper. Okay. I put here some examples. So, Nowhere gas stations, De Beers Diamonds, Golden State Warriors, and one of the most important people normally get wrong, Oracle Arena Nachos. Why is there a geography as a barrier to entry for Oracle Arena Nachos? Let's think about it. I'm in a stadium, I'm an arena, they just sell one type of nachos. There's no way other firm can get inside Oracle Arena because of a contract. That's a monopoly. And the barrier to entry is geography. So the explanation is location or control of resources limits competition and leads to one supplier only. Okay, I'm gonna be asking later your real life situation for these barriers to entry in terms of Brazil. So start searching for it. Okay. The government is also a barrier to entry. Okay, and sometimes can be good barrier, sometimes can be a bad barrier. Yeah. We're talking about water company, in some cases electricity companies, firefighters, the army, pharmaceutical drugs, state liquor stores that we don't have in Brazil. Just pay attention, it's in the US. And Rubik's cubes, right? Government allows monopoly for public benefits to stimulate innovation. And that's the point here. We can think about Brazil, because if you have the government as a barrier to entry in a monopoly, sometimes you're not stimulating innovation, right? We're waiting for this innovation to be stimulated, but it doesn't happen. So just a food for thought again. Also, patents. We're talking about patents now that governments issues to protect inventors and forbids others from using their own invention. Most of them last for at least 20 years. It can last for more. You can renew patents. Number three, also technology or even common use is the barrier to entry. So, for example, Microsoft, Intel, Frisbee, and Band-Aid Patents and widespread availability of certain products lead to only one major firm controlling a market. Again, there might be other firms, but there is one major firm controlling a whole market. Yeah, that's why Band-Aid is Band-Aid. Yes, that's why Gillette is Gillette. And then we go to economies of scale. If you don't remember what economies of scale is, you can go back to our unit 3. Okay, why economies of scale is a barrier to entry? Well, we can mostly talk about electricity companies. Okay, and let's think about it. Okay, what are economies of scale? Just pause the video and search a little bit. Okay, so now did you know? Let's think about, well, if there were three companies for electricity that were competing against each other, sorry, there would have higher costs. Well, because first they're fixed. What is a fixed cost for an electricity company? They have to put up all the wires and put out the major substations for electricity creation. And this is a really, really high fixed cost. And this is an entrance cost as well. So after this, we would have three companies that had a high cost, and we would be splitting our supply into different demands because we have the same demand. Everybody needs electricity, right? So if we have three companies investing in this fixed cost, they would like their money back, but they would have a third. If it were equally divided, they would have a third of the whole population for each, which means their profit would be a third if we only had one only form of electricity. So having one only firm, a company keeps price down because we have more money coming into, and it would pay off their start costs. So economies of scale make it impractical to have smaller firms because the start cost is too high and would force them out of the market, which could be also called by some economists as natural monopoly. Okay, because it is natural for only one firm to produce because they can produce at the lowest cost. Because instead of having three, we would have just one, and this would be producing at the lowest cost. Remember, we're talking about average total cost. It would be divided into many other consumers that are using the electricity. And then we're going to stop here. I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to start a new video for graphing monopolies later. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be online during the whole class time to answer any questions. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about the graphing monopoly.